Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a major development in Bitcoin's price action. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Let's reach 40,000 subscribers together. Very close to doing so. Let's dive right into it. This is a wedging structure forming on Bitcoin's price action ever since that 20% or so crash over the past few days. This may be a falling wedge. This is something I posted yesterday on Twitter, and today we've seen a fantastic rebound, picture perfect rebound from the bottom of that falling wedge. And what Bitcoin is going to be doing now on the 4-hour time frame is, now that we've seen a 4-hour close above this diagonal resistance, we might be seeing a pullback into this black diagonal just to retest this structure to fully confirm the breakout. Now, of course, I do realize there are a few ways to draw this current price action to just understand it, whether that's a falling wedge like this, or whether that's a downtrending channel where we're seeing these two trend lines be parallel to one another. And that's what this dashed black trend line showcases, a parallel nature to this bottom of the trend line. So if we do get a retest here, looking likely at the moment, and then springboard towards higher price levels, I'll be watching for wicks beyond this region, because I'd like this trend line to also give way, because that's going to be a resistance worth watching for. Because just look here, wicks, and wicks as well here, and even yesterday's crazy wick as well. So I'd like to see a 4-hour close above that trend line just to further confirm that we've totally left and broken out from this current portion of price action. So that's the lower time frames. What's really interesting are always the higher time frames. As a macro analyst, I gravitate to them the most. But of course, lower time frames do set the building blocks for these higher time frame changes. But nonetheless, what I mentioned on Twitter yesterday is that this is the demand zone for Bitcoin right now. The blue level is a weekly support level, and you can see that Bitcoin hasn't lost this demand area. It didn't lose it last week, and it's not losing it this week. And in fact, we're seeing rebounding from this weekly support here. In fact, we're seeing candle bodies above this weekly support. So downside wicking is fine as long as we see that spring back into the demand area. And in fact, these downside wicks are already painting an early stage higher low right over here, which is fantastic because we might be seeing some early stage bullish momentum, forming very early, but this early on in the week, that's a positive sign, just to see a higher low where bullish sentiment is already developing and showcasing itself into price action. So of course, this is the demand area right over here. We're not going to see 40k as long as we hold here, and we're holding here quite nicely and also at a higher low. Rebound from here, and we'll revisit this resistance right over here at the higher 40s. We deviated beyond that resistance, but if we do see a recovery from here, that will just show to us that people are buying the dip, and these resistances, this one over here and this one over here, will be in trouble and will be really tested and challenged for once again. Because if this buy side reaction is strong, then that'll just showcase that this rejection didn't have much momentum behind it, meaning that this sell side resistance could be weakening in the amount of sell side pressure that it actually has here, and the amount of actual volume and sell side orders being placed at these price levels over here and over here. So that's the weekly time frame. I'd like to also share my perspective on some data analytics here. This is the pi cycle top indicator, and you can see that whenever we see a crossover in the pi cycle top moving averages, we tend to see a top in Bitcoin's price action. And we saw that once again, and this was a very unique indicator because it was one of the few indicators that actually timed this top. But the reason it timed this top was because it was a local top. And most indicators look at market cycle tops. So that's why we saw a bit of a difference there. But above all else, the pi cycle top indicator is good at timing market cycle tops and local tops. But if we're seeing a discrepancy across multiple different indicators other indicators showcasing that it's not a market cycle top, and the pi cycle top indicator showcasing that it is a top, then we might be having an argument here that this was a local top and we're in the process of a mid-cycle correction. And there are a few things to pay attention to when thinking about this mid-cycle correction. We've seen this crossover, and when we see mid-cycle, or at least whenever we see crossovers and pullbacks, the moving average here continues to decline. But what we're seeing with this moving average is that we're actually curling up. We're flicking up, which only is a positive thing. And this moving average flicking up is only a positive thing because this is a 111-day moving average, meaning that it takes into account the previous 111 days worth of price action and averages that out. And with a long-standing moving average, which takes into account so many days, seeing a flick up after a prolonged period of just flicking down, really, just downtrending all the time, seeing a flick up is a really positive sign, showcasing that there is a shifting momentum here. Of course, we have seen some fantastic price action since the bottom here, so this moving average is only catching up, but it's also giving us an idea that overall bullish momentum might be changing here. And whenever we see a flick up in this moving average, that has preceded some nice upside, especially in other mid-cycle correction periods. Specifically 2013, you can see here we got that crossover to precede a fantastic crash, but then you saw, of course, curling down in this moving average and then crossing back over again, showcasing that this was actually a false cross because we saw Bitcoin's price action really appreciate, and the moving average here, the 111-day moving average, started to level off and started to flick up, and it flicked up even more so as price increased. So these sort of flick ups can be quite positive in just giving us an early stage sign that we might be seeing some further upside. And this is only a very small portion of what I mentioned in yesterday's Rekt Capital newsletter. So if you'd like to learn more about my thoughts through the lens of the price cycle top indicator, but also some volume analysis, some price action analysis, and market cycle analysis, all of that in yesterday's action-packed edition of the Rekt Capital newsletter. Sign up for only $12 a month in the link in the description down below. This is a very positive sign because we're seeing similarities in the pi cycle top behavior in Bitcoin's price action, specifically this consolidation range above this pi cycle moving average. In the same way, we're seeing a consolidation range above this pi cycle moving average as well, because now that we've broken this resistance here and formed a consolidation period here, that is a historical tendency that tends to form, which has preceded upside in the past. So many signs are showcasing that this is a mid-cycle period for Bitcoin and that upside is just around the corner, but we just need patience before we see that upside. So downside, in fact, is quite limited at these price levels. So let's just be patient and let's wait for this mid-cycle correction to fully end and then enjoy new highs from Bitcoin. In any case, guys, that's about it for today's video update. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Let's reach 40,000 subscribers sooner rather than later. Like the video if you enjoyed this one as well and would like to see more data analytic focused videos going forward. I'm Rekt Capital and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.